the justice problem. And it's a real problem, too. I just think it differs from the Malthusian problem. It's a lot easier to solve. And basically, the solution is a combination of subsidizing life extension for as many people as you can, defining can however you want, and just bringing the cost down through technological development. When I was about 15 years old, a pocket calculator, a very simple one, cost $200. And that was in the dollars of the 1970s. You can buy a pocket calculator infinitely more sophisticated now for about $15. If you travel in third world countries, which I've done, and maybe you guys have too, I remember walking down a lane in a back alley of Saigon a few years back and seeing big flat screen TVs on the wall. You see people with cell phones in Africa, right? Technology comes down eventually. So I think there's good reason to believe this will eventually drop to the point where everybody can afford it, either out of pocket or somebody will subsidize it for them. And also the material standard of living, the GDP per person is going up all over the world. So I think these two trends will intersect at a point where it really is available to everyone. But in the meantime, there is a period of time, and I don't know how long it's going to be, when it will not be available to everyone. And so very often in the objections to life extension, this is treated as a showstopper. Oh, well, only the rich will have it, so let's just not have it at all. Okay. Well, of course, it's a bad thing to have this kind of inequality. It means some people have more opportunity because they have more time. It means any existing inequalities, like in property, will increase because people have more time to increase their assets. It's just morally offensive on the face of it. That's not the interesting question. The interesting question is, what do we do about that? So very often the critics will go directly to say, well, let's just not have life extension. What they're doing is achieving inequality by making sure nobody gets it. The alternative is to achieve equality by making sure everybody gets it. The only catch is we can't give it to everybody right now. I have a hunch the Silicon Valley billionaires are going to get this before anybody else does. And, well, the less said about that, the better. But I think prohibiting it in an attempt to achieve a certain kind of equality is something philosophers call leveling down. And it's an objection to certain versions of egalitarianism, where you could achieve equality by denying something to everybody. That's called leveling down. We don't deny, organ transplants because there aren't enough organs. We'd have greater equality in the distribution of organs because we wouldn't distribute any organs. But it's the wrong way to achieve equality. And so it is with life extension. You don't level down. What you have to do is make it available to as many people as you can at the economic capacity of the society. Until we get to the point where the economy itself makes it available to everybody. Personally, I'm fairly optimistic about that. I think that the market for this is as big as the human race. The profits are titanic. The demand is spectacular. So it seemed to me very likely that this will one day be like pocket calculators. There'll be a collection of medical interventions you can get involving various drugs, maybe some stem cells, possibly some genetic engineering, and this may be so widely distributed that we can actually do it robotically through automation or something and cut the medical cost of delivery. But I think we're going to get to the point where it's actually, it's not like end of life care where that's hugely expensive because you've got lots of doctors and nurses and equipment. I think it's going to be different from that. I think it's going to be affordable sooner than we think.
It's interesting. This is also an illustration of people's particular blind spot when it comes to life extension. Because they don't make the same argument about developing heart transplants or new medicine for rare diseases or anything. I mean, they could make exactly the same argument about any invention or any research that will first benefit fewer people. So you should just stop the development of anything that's good. But why do they pick exactly this, life extension? Well, they could make the same argument about some rare cancer treatment.
Yeah, there's no morally relevant difference between these various cases, yet they treat the one as exceptional, and there's no justification for it. Yeah, the example I think I mentioned it in the book somewhere was not everybody has housing, but that's not a reason to stop people from having larger houses than they need. It's just a reason to give houses to everybody.